What's up, Facebook? Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite. Welcome to our first ever 4 o'clock p.m. live stream here on Facebook. So we've already had some technical difficulties starting our first live stream. First of all, we had scheduled this live stream so others could come into the live stream and be alerted through Messenger, and all kinds of other cool stuff was supposed to happen. But unfortunately, those things did not work like they were supposed to work. So here we are now going live in this version, and hopefully all will be okay, and hopefully we will still be able to have a good session today, even though we have run into our share of technical difficulties. So thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. Again, like I said, did not work out like we planned. We actually had this scheduled as a live stream, and other people were sitting in that live stream waiting for us to go live right now. Jerome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. But unfortunately, we were not able to go live as I anticipated that we would be able to go live on that. But we will fix that issue so we can make sure that in the future we are in good shape and we're able to go live. We'll be able to schedule this. You'll be able to know we're going live. We'll be able to even give you a notice in Messenger. That's what's supposed to have happened today. But we ran into all kind of technical difficulties. But here we are. So Veronica, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to be talking about Business Credit 101. We're going to talk about the basics. Everything you need to know about business credit, we're going to be diving into today. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be decoding, so you know everything you need to know about what business credit is, how it works, maybe not a detailed overview of the steps, but at least all the information that you need to know to be able to succeed with business credit. Donald, thank you very much. I appreciate you tuning in. So today, Business Credit 101. That's what we're going to be diving into. We're going to be talking about the basics on how to get business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your personal Social Security number. Okay, that is the topic at hand that we're going to be diving into and going ahead and checking out. So let's dive into the basics. So business credit. Now, if you're not familiar with what business credit is, we're talking about credit that's under a business's EIN, not linked to a personal Social. A lot of people here get skeptical of business credit because when we talk about it, we talk about how you can get it without providing a Social Security number, that you can get it without providing a personal credit check. Well, the way that business credit works and the reason it's possible is because you're not even providing a Social Security number when you do it the right way. It's linked to the EIN. It's not linked to the personal Social Security number. So as a result of that, you're actually able to come in and get it without supplying a Social Security number because it's credit for your business EIN, not for your personal social. Now, another thing you need to know about business credit, why it's so popular, is that you can get it without the personal guarantee. So you can get it without a personal guarantee, which means that you're not liable for what's happening in the actual business name. Okay, so that's one of the huge benefits of business credit, and it's personally why I love business credit. The first business I ever owned was a mortgage company, and I was owner during the crash that happened, and I lost almost everything as a result. Now, even though I had tons of credit, tons of available credit, everything that you would and should have as a business owner, the problem was that when we actually came in and had issues with the business, then what happened is it carried over to my personal credit and they wiped out all my personal assets. When you don't have a personal guarantee, you're not personally liable. That means if you ever default on credit, they can take your business assets, but they can't take your personal assets. So it's a huge benefit for business owners to be able to have that advantage without having to guarantee everything personally for your business. Now, another huge thing you need to know about business credit is that you can get it regardless of your cash flow, regardless of collateral, and regardless of credit requirements. This is what I call the 3 C's of lending. If you ever want to get a business loan, ever, you have to have one of these 3. You either need to have cash flow, good credit, or collateral. One of these 3 things. If you don't have one of these 3 things, then what happens in a position where you can't get a loan, you can't get a credit line, you can't get financing. Business credit's the only way that you can get money for a business, even if you have no cash flow, no credit, no collateral. So let's say you're starting your business. You don't have cash flow. You have some credit issues, and you don't have any collateral that you could pledge to get money. Well, you can still get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 individual limit credit cards without the cash flow, without the credit, without the collateral. This is only possible through business credit. As a matter of fact, I call business credit a catch-all because everybody can get it. It's a catch-all where anybody can get it, unlike loans and credit lines where you have to meet certain criteria to ever be able to get approved. So business credit provides a huge advantage because it helps you get money even when you can't get money from banks, alternative lenders, or other sources that lend money to businesses. Now, it also has no effect on consumer credit quality at all. Now, this means a few different things. First of all, you don't need to have good personal credit to get business credit, because if you do it right, you're not even providing a social security number. What's happening with business credit is that you're providing your EIN number and you're building credit under that EIN number. So what's nice about this is as you get more credit, you can apply without providing your social, so there's no inquiries on your consumer credit report. That's a big deal because inquiries account for 10% of your overall consumer credit scores. So if you limit your inquiries, not only does it help you improve your consumer credit score, but there's a lot of loans and credit lines that look at inquiries as a disqualifier. So if you have inquiries on your personal credit, it can prevent you from getting business credit cards and loans that you may want to get. So by keeping those inquiries off your consumer credit report, then what you're able to do is improve the scores and give yourself a better chance of getting other kinds of business financing, which is a really big deal. Now, the other benefit here is that the credit reports to the business credit reporting agencies. It reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax Commercial, Experian Commercial. So the benefit here is that it doesn't report on your consumer credit reports. Well, 30% of your consumer credit score is based on utilization. If we look at consumer credit, 30% of that score is what's called utilization. By keeping the credit off of your consumer credit report, you can max out the credit, and then in doing so, you don't have to come in and you don't have to actually have any effect on your utilization because the credit reports on your business credit reports, not your consumer. Tyrone, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So also, it's cool because startups are welcome as well. So with business credit, you can get this even as a startup, and that's a big deal. The majority of business failures happen in the first 5 years of business. This is exactly why if you get an SBA loan, they won't touch you unless you have 3 years of tax returns. Because in order to have 3 years of tax returns, you have to be in business for more than 3 years. Most bank loans, conventional loans, a lot of lenders want to see seasoning in the business before they'll give you money. Everybody knows this. It's very difficult to get money as a startup, but you can get business credit as a startup. You can get a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 Amazon card, a $20,000 Dell credit card, and a $30,000 Visa card with your business credit, even if you don't have the cash flow, even if you don't have the credit, even if you don't have the collateral, because you're building it and letting the business ultimately fund itself. So this means even startups can get this. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best forms of capital that a startup business can get. And the other beautiful thing about business credit is it makes you more lendable. Lenders are looking at your business credit reports to determine how much money to lend you. Should you be lend any money? What rates and terms should you pay? Thank you very much for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Marcus, I thank you for coming in and partaking in the knowledge. So lenders are looking at your business credit to determine if you should be lent money, how much money you should be lent, and the rates and terms you pay. So by building business credit, you open up the door, especially early on in the business, you open up the door to make it easier for yourself to get credit lines, loans, etc. As a matter of fact, if you look at the coveted SBA loan, you cannot even get an SBA loan without building business credit. And the reason for that is that SBA pulls a score called the FICO SBSS. It's your FICO small business score. And your small business score, if you don't have business credit, cannot be higher than 140, and you have to have a 140 score to get an SBA loan. The bottom line is you have to have business credit, because if you don't, you're never going to be able to get SBA loan in the long-term, really low interest financing that, let's be honest, all of us really want to get as business owners. Well, it's only possible if you have a credit profile that actually supports that you should be lent that kind of money. That's another huge benefit of business credit. Thomas, thanks for saying hey, and thanks for coming in. So let's talk a little bit about corporate credit versus business credit. I have a confession. What I talk about really isn't business credit. It's actually called corporate credit. If we really look at the definition of these two, corporate credit is really what you refer to as credit without a personal guarantee. A credit that a business gets that maybe has a PG, maybe doesn't, is actually referred to as business credit. I refer to a lot of this as business credit because it's a common term. Most people are familiar with business credit. But if you really wanted to nitpick, then what you really should know is this is actually officially called corporate credit. Corporate credit's the credit that you get without a personal guarantee, whereas business credit, it could be a PG, it could not be a personal guarantee. So if you hear the term corporate credit, keep that in mind. Corporate credit refers to the credit you're getting really without the PG, personal guarantee. Business credit might have a personal guarantee, might not. Maybe you'll never need to know that, but it's still a good little fact to tack on as we're talking about this topic of business credit. So let's talk about some other things that matter. So when we talk about business credit 101, one of the things you must know is your payment history matters. It probably matters most, okay? So it affects your business credit scores more than anything else. So here's how scores work in the business world. There's two kinds of scores. They're what's called performance scores. Performance scores are how you've performed in the past. There's predictive scores. They're scores that take how you've performed in the past and predict how you'll act in the future. In both of these cases, how you've paid your bills is the most important factor. So whether they're predicting your future default and lenders are using those scores, or whether they're looking at how you've performed in the past and lenders are using those scores, how you pay your bills matters more important than anything else. So I'll give you an example. If we look at the D&B Paydex score, the most popular score in the business world, and guys, thanks for the likes, thanks for the engagement, I really appreciate this. I'd like to get more knowledge from you. Marcus, tune in. We're here every week, and we'll definitely do this because we'll help you get that credit you need to start the business. So D&B's Paydex score is the most common score in the business world, and it is what is called a performance score. It's based on how you've performed in the past. The score literally means how you've paid your bills. If you paid your bills on time or promptly, you'd have an 80 score. If you paid on average 14 days late, you'd have a 70 score. So this is what we're looking at when we talk about performance scores. Now, predictive scores would take this and predict how you may pay in the future. So when we talk about business credit, payment history matters a lot. It really affects these scores that determine what lenders are going to lend you, the rates and terms you'll pay, etc. So you've got to pay on time. If you do this one thing, you pay on time or early, you can really raise your scores, okay? Now, again, what I do is I like to pay every bill as soon as they let me pay a bill. If I'm ordering from, and you have to let the item ship, if you're buying an item that ships, or be fulfilled before you pay, or it's considered a cash transaction. So for example, if I'm ordering from Uline or Quill, the minute they ship it, I log in and I pay. If I'm ordering from Staples, they won't let me pay until they generate a statement. So I keep checking, and the minute they generate a statement, I pay. I don't even wait to get it in the mail. As soon as they let me pay, I pay. It's what you need to do as well. Think about it. We live in a beautiful world here. In the consumer credit world, things like your payment history, your utilization, the length of time you've had credit, the credit mix you have, it's a convoluted mess of what makes up your credit score, right? In the business world, we are so lucky to have a score that's only based on how we pay. If we want to have good scores, all we do is pay our bills on time or early. It's the only thing we have to do. So this is a really good advantage. This helps us get money super fast. But the one thing, the one responsibility you have to take seriously here is you've got to make sure that you pay those bills promptly. You've got to make sure you pay those bills early if you can pay those bills early. And then Benjamin says, hey, are there any other business credit cards with no PG? I have 15 trades with D&B, 12 with Experian. There's a lot of them. Chase Inc. PNC Bank is one of the best ones right now, where PNC Bank has credit cards where you don't have to have a PG. And Amex Gold, and they have a blue card too that you're able to get right now with no PG. If you're not already, go into our group. Get Business Credit in Facebook, and you'll see a lot of people sharing their experiences. You can even search the group for PNC and Amex and find the exact process to be able to go in and get approved for those kind of cards. Okay, so you also need to make sure that you need to know that you must use credit to get a score with D&B, okay? Now, Experian and Equifax will give you a failing score even if you have no credit. With D&B, you've got to have credit. You've got to use the credit to get a score. I get this a lot. A lot of people say, look, I got the credit. Do I have to use it? Yes, you do. Because as we just talked about, your payments are based on how you pay. So it really comes down to 3 steps. Apply and get credit, use credit, pay the bill. The paying of the bill is what gets the account reported. So you've got to use the credit and pay the bill. Now, if you don't use it, then what will happen is it won't show the recent amount of credit you've used. And any credit issuers and lenders that look at your credit report will know that you have not recently used the credit. So you've got to get the credit, you've got to use the credit, you've got to pay the bill timely in order to have credit actually coming in. And no problem, Benjamin, if you ask a question, we will get it addressed. The beautiful thing about these live streams, we only do one type like this, where we use chalkboards. No, that art is not mine. Mine's horrible. And then we also use whiteboards. And then it's a live Q&A. Any questions you have, this is the one opportunity you get to have those questions answered in real time. So please ask the questions. Give me the engagement. I'll answer any question that you have. I want to make sure that you all have answers on how to get business credit, how to get money for your business so you can fuel your dreams and do like super cool things and let me know what you're doing. I will make sure that those questions are answered. And this says, I'm a new business and have 6 trades. Can I get a credit card with no PG? You can get credit with no personal guarantee from the startup phase, but it's all based on tiers, how much credit you can get. If you have 6 trade lines, then you have just about enough vendor credit to get involved with store credit. Amazon is a great one to start with next. Okay, BP, Chevron, Sunoco, Sam's Club, Costco, they all issue no PG business credit. You can start to get with 5 trades. Another good place for you to go next is Dell. Possibly Best Buy, possibly Amazon with 6 trades. Those are accounts you could probably be successful and secure now. Okay, and there's no more most effective, and this is a question, Marcus. Marcus says, what's the most effective trades? That's where I see people mess up building business credit. They get credit just to build business credit. No, no, no. What credit do you need to grow the business? If you get credit you're not going to use, it won't help you. You need credit that you actively are going to use to grow the business, because then you use it, and the more you use it and the more you put on there as balances, then the more that credit issuers and lenders see you're using it, the higher your recommendation of credit is from the reporting agencies, the higher the limits are for future credit issuers. So any credit works. Almost all major retailers, Macy's and Nordstrom even offer no PG business credit. But are you going to buy things for your business at Macy's or Nordstrom? Maybe not. If you speak like I speak on stages, well, then I need suits and stuff. That may work for me. It may be credit that I can use, but for a typical business owner, maybe not. So always focus on getting credit you can actually use, because the using of that credit is what helps you the most. Now, D&B requires 3 accounts for a Paydex score. So for you to get a Paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet, you have to have 3 accounts. You have to have a DUNS number. And with Experian and Equifax, they'll give you a score with no accounts. So this is a big differentiator between them you guys should know about. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, first we start with company legitimacy. Who did JCPenney report to, Tyrone? I'm not positive on that. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure, but if we have time here, I'll hang out, I'll look in our system, and I might be able to figure that out. Also, go to our Get Business Credit on Facebook. I know a lot of people have JCPenney. I'm just, off the top of my head, I don't remember where every source reports to, because a lot of them report to 2 or 3 reporting agencies. So, company legitimacy, the first step here that you're going to be going through and doing with building business credit, and that's to get your entity set up, preferably a corporation. Okay, and most entities are all the same. Get your EIN number. It's free from the IRS to get this. Get a professional website. Get a professional email address. Get a phone number. Get a fax number. Get your phone number listed with 411. The application has to reflect that your business is credible. And Shanta says, I had business credit and had a major setback in my business. How can I get my business credit back to good standing? Well, there's 2 things and pieces of advice that I'll give you. And for some reason, my not letting me switch back to me. First of all, check your business credit. If you go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, you can get Experian and Dun & Bradstreet credit reports for only $24. Okay, $24 a month for both. See what's on your business credit report. If they're really bad, you may want to start over with a new corporation. If it's not, then follow these steps. Start building business credit and get your positive credit to offset the negative credit that you have. Okay, and let me see. I don't want to turn on that, I don't think. Okay, so separate address. You need to have a physical business address or a virtual address is what you want. If you can't afford a virtual address, you might use a home address as last resort. But you need to know if you use an address to build business credit, some sources like Walmart will not approve you. Whoa, saw some likes come across the screen. Thank you for those. Some sources like Walmart will not approve you with the home address. Second thing to know. Sources like D&B are now putting a Google image of your business on your actual business credit report, a street view. So if your street view is a house, they will put your house image on your business credit report. If you don't want that, don't get a home address. The one thing to never do is do not use P.O. boxes or UPS addresses for your business address. It will get you denied for loans. It will get you denied for credit, and you may never know it's the reason for denial, but it's a huge reason for denial. So get a physical address first. If you can't, get a virtual address. If you can't, use your home address. Never use P.O. box. Never use UPS. gas address. So now you also need to make sure that you get any licenses that you need, and you also need to make sure that you have consistent information everywhere online. Secretary of State, IRS, website, a Yelp. Look, here's what's crazy about business credit. The reporting agencies like D&B get information from Yelp. They get it from Facebook. They get it from your website. They get it from Yellow Pages. So what happens is if you don't have your information be congruent, D&B can't recognize it's the same business. And this is where people get multiple reports populated. We had two DUNS numbers because we had two addresses. We had an address at one point in time. We had the new one. So D&B populated two DUNS numbers. We had to make sure we condensed them into one. So this happens if there's a separate address and incongruent information out there. Believe it or not, it's one of the number one reasons that bank applications get denied. Because the address you put on the application isn't the same as Secretary of State. It's not the same as what they find online. So congruency, does the business name, address, phone number, is it the same on Yelp as it is in Yellow Pages? Is it the same on your website as it is in these other places? It's very, very important that it is. If not, it can easily get you denied. Benjamin, I contacted Chase for the Business Inc. card and Amex for a business card. However, they were asking for a PG. They also don't send applications. Who can I contact directly? Well, what you have to do, first of all, the underwriters are the only ones that have those answers, not the front end reps. Second, you have to make sure that they give you a paper application you can fax in, or an online application that won't force you to enter your social. It's typically a paper app. That's typically what you do. So Staples and Office Depot, both underwritten by Citi, for example. If you go there, what happens, their online apps force you to fill out the social. But on their online apps, at the top line above it, you can click and download an actual physical form app and send it in and fax it in. And every credit issuer I've ever seen lets you do this. That's how you get around providing the social and the PG. You basically fill out the app without the PG or without the social. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get that. Without the social. And then what happens is you force them to make the business credit decision based on your business credit. You should know you will not get approved unless, again, you have at least 14 accounts reporting. It sounds like you do. And one of those accounts has to have a $10,000 limit or higher to even be considered for Visa, MasterCard, cash credit without the personal guarantee. Okay, so now you've set up the business legitimate. Now you've got to get a couple numbers. One, you've got to make sure you get the EIN number from the IRS. A lot of people think business credit's built under the DUNS number. That's not true. It's built under your EIN. But you're never able to come in and get business credit if you don't have the EIN. You have to have this. Now, you also need to get the DUNS number from Dun & Bradstreet. You can go to creditsuite.com/DUNS to get it, or you could just Google free DUNS number. We just created a short link to make it easy for you to do, okay? So what happens here is you've got to make sure you get that DUNS number because a lot of credit issuers will look at that actual DUNS. So I applied for a credit card once and got denied for the business. And I thought, that's insane. And I told him that. I said, that's insane. I have a lot of business credit built with D&B, which is who you pull. And I said, did you check my DUNS? No, I didn't. Give me your DUNS. I gave him the DUNS. He put me on hold and came back 3 minutes later with a high approval. So that DUNS number is invaluable, even when they don't ask for it. In a lot of cases, if you can, provide it to them. Because I've seen firsthand that it is the difference between denials and approvals. Even though a lot of credit issuers won't ask for it, it's good to have it. Some will ask for it, and others will approve you with it based on the credit profile and have a hard time finding your credit profile without it, just from personal experience. I had the 10K reporting. Benjamin, you should be good. You have the trades, you have the 10K. You got to get a paper app. That's the next step you want to do. Okay, so you got to know that when we talk about building business credit here, how to church start business credit, exactly the same steps. I'm going to kind of give you a quick rundown. This one isn't about the steps to build business credit. We are going to do another one that maps out the entire steps of building business credit. We're also going to be talking about how to get money for a business in our future live streams. But for this one, I'll give you a quick overview, and a church or nonprofit can do exactly the same thing. Set up that legitimacy. Get those EIN and DUNS number, those important numbers. And now you need to know that this is not an automatic thing. We're used to consumer automatic, right? And by that I mean that you don't have to consciously worry about building consumer credit. If you get a credit card at Walmart, you pretty much be sure that Walmart's going to report it on your consumer credit report. It's not like that in the business world. 97% of trade vendors don't even report the credit they issue to the reporting agencies. So this isn't automatic. You have to consciously be aware of what's going on and follow a step-by-step process in order to actually succeed. Now again, that's setting up that company legitimacy. That's getting those numbers. Then that's getting started with initial credit. And initial credit is places like EIN and Quill and Granger. These guys will approve you even if you have no credit now. Now, you should know that sources like EIN and Quill will sometimes make you place 3 orders before they'll approve you. That's okay. Who cares? Spend $50. Do your first order. If they deny you, spend another $50. Spend $100 on your third order. And by the third order, they will approve you. But if you've had some time in business or some established business credit, they won't do this. They will approve you. So in a lot of cases, 80% we see people with instant approvals. In 20% of cases, we see people that need to place 2 or 3 orders to get approved. But these credit issuers will give you credit even if you have none, and they report it to the reporting agencies, EIN, Quill, Granger, so they help you build initial business credit. Now there is a shortcut. Here's the shortcut. If you have good personal credit, then you can get a program called unsecured business financing. You can get up to $150,000 even as a startup, 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. You can get this as a guarantor even if your credit's not good. You need a 685 FICO to go with this option, but you can use a guarantor with a 685. You can get it as a startup. So they'll give you 5 to 8 credit lines. You can take the physical cash out on these credit lines. They report it to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. This is credit that doesn't report to the reporting or does report to the business reporting agencies, does not report to consumer reporting agencies, but does require a personal guarantee and good credit to get it. But if you get this credit with a PG, you'll get 5 to 8 accounts on your business credit reports, and you'll expedite the growth of your business credit building. So I've given you 2 options, one without a personal guarantee, one with. One with no credit check, one with. Okay, so the one without a credit check is EIN, Quill, Granger. They'll give anybody credit, even as a startup. They don't pull your personal credit. They report to the business reporting agencies. Anybody can get it. But if you have good personal credit or a guarantor with good personal credit, then you want to go to this unsecured financing program, because with this you can get up to $150,000. You can get cash credit. You could build your business credit all at the same time. Now, as we go through this, we plugged in one other feature, and by the way, none of the other features we've tried to do during this live stream have worked. Our schedule hasn't worked. Our Facebook Messenger alerts haven't worked. So this might work, it might not. But if you type in the word EIN into comments, EIN, then what will happen is you should engage with our messenger bot that can give you a free guide that maps out in more detail than we'll go through today, the step-by-step process to build business credit. We're going to check it out. It's not going to. Alex says our third feature does not work today either. So we will test that out, and I will get it working for next time, but that's something cool that we'll be bringing back to you guys. Okay, so that being said, business credit, we set up the legitimacy. We got 5 accounts. We did it 2 ways. We used vendors like EIN, Quill, and Granger, okay? So EIN, Quill, and Granger will be vendors that don't require personal credit checks. We talked about unsecured business financing as well, which is another option to be able to do it. Now, guys, if you have questions along the way, feel free to visit our website. You can get our phone number and you can get our messenger. Alex just said if you go to our Facebook page and type in the word EIN, I'm sorry guys, it's not going to work in this live stream. We have technical issues today. But if you do type in EIN and messenger on our Facebook page, you'll get the guide. Hopefully next week we'll have that fixed. So if you have any questions, guys, feel free to check us out online. Our phone number, everything you need is there as well. So 5 accounts. You can do it using vendor accounts. You could pay D&B. It's expensive, $2,000, and they'll put some accounts on your D&B profile, but it's only D&B. This isn't the recommended way. Or again, you go with this unsecured financing option I told you. Get up to $150,000, 0% rates, works for startups, 680 FICO score. Now, once you have 5 or more of these accounts, 5 or more, with the PG or without, I gave you options to get it, then you move on here. You get store credit cards, fleet credit cards, until you get about 10 to 14 accounts. So here's some real approvals that we have that you can see this process. EIN and Quill are the starters, right? $500, $1,500. Office Depot's a store, right? Apple's a store, BP, Amazon. These are all real store credit, real approvals. $5,000, $15,000, $20,000, $40,000 Best Buy accounts, $40,000 fleet accounts. When you have 5 vendors like Uline, Quill, or you use this unsecured program, then you can start to get credit at Apple and Dell, Home Depot and Lowe's, BP, Chevron, Sunoco, Costco. You can start to get credit at Sprint and Verizon. You can start to get credit at T-Mobile. You can get credit at Sears. You can get credit at Amazon. Amazon's one of the easiest accounts to get once you have 5 accounts reported. Now, as you get more store credit, don't forget, my advice here, and Alex just typed in a link to Messenger that you can click, type in the word EIN and get that free guide I was telling you about. You can also go to creditsuite.com/Facebook and get that guide as well. So remember, when you get store credit, don't get credit just to get to the next level. Get credit you're actually going to use. Okay, we use Amazon for like everything. So we got an Amazon credit card. We buy everything on the Amazon credit card and we pay it off monthly. We got credit card at Dell because we use Dell computers. We got credit at HP because we use HP computers. So get credit at places you're actually going to use, because the using of that credit is what will get you higher limits and higher recommendations of credit in the future. That's why it's so important that you get credit with stores you're actually going to use. There's all kinds of fleet credit. I don't get it. Why? I don't drive very much. My office is 15 minutes from my house. So I don't drive very much. I don't use gas cards very much. So that's not the best credit for me because I don't use them very much. But credit at Dell is very important to me because we put a lot of computers in this office, and that's credit I need and I use. Amazon is important because we buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. Walmart is important because we buy a lot of stuff on Walmart. Get credit that you're going to use, because the using of the credit is what gets you higher limits and higher recommendation of credit from the reporting agencies. So if you have a total of about 10 to 14 accounts, then you can start getting the Visa cards, what we call cash credit, Visa cards, Amex, MasterCard. You can get auto vehicle financing. So Chase, Inc., Amex, PNC offers cash credit. When it comes to auto vehicle financing, you can get Ally Financial, Ford, GM, all without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Everything I've shown you here is without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check, except for this guy, which is an alternative option I gave you to get vendor accounts, which does require the 680. But the vendor credit using Uline Quill to be able to skip this good credit step if you want to, and then get store credit and cash credit, auto vehicle financing, it's all available without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Now, as you start to get this credit, you're going to need to monitor your credit reports to see the credit reporting. Go to creditsuite.com/monitoring. This is the cheapest credit monitoring in the world through our Nav integration. It's $24 a month for D&B and Experian. Those two, without using this link, if you go to Experian and D&B Direct, are $210 a month for the same. To avoid here, we talk about putting your social security number on the business application. Every time you put a social on an application for credit, you're almost guaranteed to be providing a personal credit check and a personal guarantee. You give them this, they pull your credit, and you're going to attach a PG. How do you found it? Leave the social security number field blank. Don't get confused here. Never put an EIN, never put a DUNS, never put a CPN crazy number. Don't put anything in the place of a social security number ever. It's classified as misrepresenting your social security number, which is 2 felonies from the federal government. I'm not an attorney, but I can tell you if you look it up that you will find that misrepresenting your social security number violates 2 federal felonies, because you can't misrepresent your social. If it asks for a social, you provide your social or leave it blank. So you need to make sure you leave it blank, or you're providing a PG and you're providing a credit check. So leave that blank. You also have to follow the steps in order. So many people mess up building business credit, and this is what they say. I set up my business legitimately, then I went into my bank and got a cash credit card and got denied. Yeah, you skipped this step, you skipped this step. You've got to build the 5 accounts first, then you've got to get to store credit. With 10 to 14 accounts, you can get to cash credit. If you skip steps, you will fail. You will get denied, okay? And again, a lot of people fail because thinking they have business credit and they don't. A lot of people I talk to say, hey, look, I have business credit. And then my question is always the same. Fantastic. So when you got that credit card, did you provide a social security number? And thank you for the likes and thank you for the loves. And they say, yeah. And I said, well, that's not real business credit. You actually signed a personal guarantee. It's based on your personal credit quality. Don't think that you have business credit when you don't. How do you know? It's real simple. What credit do you have that you've gotten without providing a social? If you did provide a social, it's not real business credit. So some of the biggest mistakes that we see people avoid. So what do you do after this? Well, then you got to take care of your business credit and you got to keep building it. Keep building it to get even more credit and even better terms, right? We know this. Credit's all the same. When you started building consumer credit, you probably started with low limit credit cards or somebody co-signed on a vehicle or something like that. You started small, typically with small credit cards. You use those credit cards, you pay the bills, you get higher limit credit cards. Higher limit, higher. You qualify for auto financing, qualify for loans, you qualify for mortgages. That's the way credit is built. Credit's exactly the same in the business world as it is in the consumer world. You have to use the credit. You have to use the credit. You have to pay the bills. You have to do this process to keep getting more and more credit. It never stops. People ask me, how long does it take you to build business credit? How long did it take you to build consumer credit? It's an ongoing process. It never stops. You have to continue to apply and use the credit. And you've got to use that credit regularly. Business credit reports show the recent amount of credit you've used. If you're not using it regularly, then they show that, and then it doesn't really classify and doesn't really look like it's an account even being used, which can hurt you. Don't ignore personal credit quality, okay? Look, just because I'm showing you how to build business credit where your personal credit doesn't matter, doesn't mean your personal credit's not important. It's extremely important. If you ever want an SBA loan, you need personal credit. I just showed you how to get $150,000 in unsecured financing based only on personal credit quality. Personal credit opens up so many doors for you to get lines of credit, term loans, etc. If you have credit issues, dispute the items on your credit report. Go to youtube.com/credit suite. Look at our video, type in credit repair. We've got a video that teaches you how to do it and dispute your own credit. You want to get better results? Hire a reputable credit repair company. There's a lot of them out there. Look at their reviews. These guys know what they're doing. They know consumer laws at a level that most people don't know, and they're going to get you better results than you'll ever get on your own. But don't ignore it. And also monitor your scores. To build business credit, you need a certain amount of accounts, 5 accounts, 14 accounts. You only know that if you're monitoring your business credit reports. creditsuite.com/monitoring to be able to do so. So again, there's a couple different ways you can get a detailed guide on how to do this. You can go to creditsuite.com/Facebook. You can also go into the link here that's pinned in this live stream, and the link will also get, if you go to that link and type in EIN, you can get a free guide. And give us a ring too, 877-600-2487. We'll get you a free credit safe business credit report. We'll talk to you, we'll answer your questions, a little bit more if you have an interest in working with us. What do? We just take years of business credit building and condense it down to only months. I'm really big on teaching you the one-on-one, teaching you exactly how to do this on your own, but don't be deceived. This isn't an easy process. There's a lot of barriers. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of unknowns that you're going to run into, and you're going to get stuck, which costs you time. With us, we're able to expedite the results for you, save you a ton of time, and also help you get money a lot faster, which is our primary goal. And then beyond that, we're also able to save you a lot of money, because a lot of things like 411 listing and DUNS and all the stuff you'll pay for, you don't pay for with us. So we're able to save you a bunch of money. It's even cheaper to build business credit with us and do it on your own. And we're able to save you a bunch of time. Don't want to? No worries. I've now given you all the information that you need to get started. And if you're watching us in future streams, we're going to be mapping out the 101 on building business credit. We're going to be mapping out how to get business loans. We're even going to be diving in and talking about bank credit scores. Did you know you have 3 types of credit? You have consumer credit, business credit, and bank credit. Banks have their own credit score for you. We're going to be talking about that in weeks to come as well. So I appreciate you tuning in, and I apologize for the technical issues. We had people get alerted on Facebook Messenger we were live when we weren't. Our live stream that was scheduled, that we've had scheduled for a week, did not go. It did not trigger. I was not able to get in there, and I apologize for all the people, if you're on here, that were waiting in that stream for me to go live. But we're trying to do some things we've never done before. And if you're patient with us, we're going to make these streams better and better and cooler and cooler. So we're here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern, live on Periscope, to do these live Q&As, to do these live trainings. And I'm going to teach you and decode everything. you need to know to get money for your business. No matter what your situation is, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to be able to build business credit, get loans, get credit lines. So if you want to start a business, if you want to grow a business, then tune in here. Every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern, we're going to talk about tips to teach you exactly what you need to know to get money to fund that business. Do you do the same for, I didn't see that full question. Can you pull my report? Not today. We used to be able to pull Experian business credit reports. This stream, I'm not pulling reports, but if you want a credit safe credit report, then give us a ring, which is somebody else's question as well. What's our number again? 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. If you give there's a couple things we can do to help you. One, we can talk to you about building business credit, and we can also talk to you. Christine, welcome. We can also talk to you about all different kinds of financing. So if you call us, you're going to be talking to one of these guys here. Say, hey, guys, what's up?
What's up, man? Give me a call. I'm ready. Give me a call.
So you'll be talking to one of those guys if you want a loan, and you'll be talking to one of these guys if you're interested in building business credit. They're quiet. They're back in the corner. So if you give us a ring, you're going to be talking to me. You're going to be talking to one of these guys here, and we can help you build business credit. We can help you get financing as well. So we'll talk to you about all different kinds of loans, credit lines, et cetera, you can qualify for. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Again, creditsuite.com/Facebook, free guide on building business credit, 877-600-2487 if you have questions. I'm going to see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern live here on Facebook, where we're talking about even more cool things that will help you get financing and credit for your business. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. And Emmanuel says, I just got logged in. How do I get credit for my business? Go back. We're not starting the whole stream over, although I'd love to. But if you go to our Facebook page, this stream in its entirety will be there. You can go to our video section and watch the stream where we just mapped out everything. And in our future streams this month, we will be talking more about building business credit and the step-by-step to do so. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. Don't forget to check us out in its entirety. If you missed it, we mapped out a bunch of cool stuff. I'll see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.